Contendere, Latin for no contest. It sums up an anticlimactic FUSA election that appears to embody the student apathy often discussed regarding the Fairfield population. We'll delve into that tonight.
Hello, and welcome to the Ham Channel's 2009 election special. I'm Steph Zambrano, joined by Steve Wotari, and tonight we'll be focusing on student apathy, on what FUSA has done, and what it needs to do. We'll be joined by FUSA President Jeff Seiser, former Presidents Hutch Williams and Karen Donahue, as well as Mirror Editor Chris Halisko, and many more guests.
We have the campus covered with us here up in Studio A at Xavier Hall, headquarters for the Ham Channel this election evening. We also have Kevin and Ron down in the campus center. We'll be talking with them in just a few moments. Also with us tonight in studio is Brian Fernandez, who's manning the laptop for your comments. At any point during the night, you can IM News 6464 with your questions and comments. We'll be checking with him often. And actually, let's go to him right now. Hey, Brian, what's going on? You want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing tonight and how people can get involved?
Sure, Steve. Yep, I'm sitting at the laptop right now, and anybody out there watching can IM me at News 6464 with your comments, and they might get on the air.
Great. Thanks so much, Brian. And now, Steph, there's more to talk about, right?
All right, and coming up a little later on, we also have the election results from all the races in every class here, including those Senate seats, which were the only ones contested electoral spots, excuse me. Right now, though, let's check in with Kevin and Ron down in the campus center. Kevin, Ron, what's going on down there?
All right, thanks guys. Welcome here. I'm Ron Sousa.
And I'm Kevin Skowski, and we're in the BCC covering the FUSA 2009 elections. The polls are now closed, the voting machines are disassembled, and we are just awaiting the results.
All right, coming up later, we're going to have an interview with Karen Donahue. She's the director of Res Life here at Fairfield. She was also the first female president of FUSA. And also, we're going to have an interview with Chris Halisko, who covers Fairfield, FUSA for the Mirror. So all that coming up a little later. For now, let's send it back to the studio.
Thanks, Kevin and Rob. We're going to sit down and go in depth with FUSA President Jeff Seiser in just a few moments. We want your questions and comments to Jeff. Again, you can let us know those by IMing us at the Ham Channel here at News 6464. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, send in those questions, and right back with FUSA President Jeff Seiser. You're watching the Ham Channel on this election special for 2009. We're back here now at the Ham Channel live on election night. My tie is crooked. Thank you so much, Mike Rubitson. I'll fix that next commercial break. Right now, we are joined by FUSA President Jeff Seiser. Jeff, hopefully 2 terms. We'll find out shortly.
Thank you.
Results will be happening here live on the Ham Channel, and we'll be sure to bring those to you as soon as we get them up here in Studio A, up here at Xavier Hall. Before we get to the interview, though, Jeff, I just want to jump over to Brian Fernandez real quick. We're already getting comments, as you can see by my tie comment, and I just want to see, Brian, what are people saying out there in Cyberland?
Well, we've got one comment for Jeff over here, and it says that, is it true that Jeff Seiser's townhouse, 141, will be mentioned in the campus crime beat tomorrow for hosting an enormous rave party last Saturday?
Interesting. Let's kick the interview off, Jeff, with that first question. From, who do we got it from?
That is from LBIKZKIT0415.
There we go. So, Jeff, will you be in the campus crime beat?
I think that's something you have to ask the Mirror. We didn't actually. No, well, I think we can move on to future stuff. But we didn't really do anything wrong. We just had too many people in the house, and it was actually a registered event.
Thank you so much to that user, and please keep sending in those comments to News 6464. We'll be checking them all night. Brian is manning the laptop, and we love hearing from you. And as you can see, we do throw them on air. So right now, though, Jeff, let's actually get into the nitty-gritty part.
Real deal.
All right.
We like to say up here.
Okay.
We do. Jeff, this is going to be your second term. Once we find out the election results, what do you plan to do with the second term?
Well, I think this past year, FUSA, we've come a long way and increased our exposure tremendously and our legitimacy tremendously with the administration and the faculty. We really got involved in the university decision-making process. And our goal going forward for next year is to continue with that, but also increase our exposure with the student body.
How did you go about doing that this past year? What do you encounter any obstacles trying to get in there with the faculty this past year at all?
Well, I think that the faculty and the administration looks at me as being very professional. First off, I come in, I dress well. I really come across. I know what I'm doing. I do my homework, and I come in there, and I advocate for the students in a very professional way. And by doing that, I went a long way. And the way we at FUSA really have gotten involved in the university decision-making process is by getting students involved in the university committees that make the important decisions, from the senior management team to the commencement committee to the committee that selected the new senior vice president for academic affairs. There's about 30 committees that right now students are serving on with faculty and administration, and being a part of the important discussions that are being held and being at the table when decisions are made.
Well, all right, so Jeff, let's look at the flip side of that now. I mean, clearly you have gotten more people involved in decision-making processes on campus. What does FUSA still fail to do?
Still fail to do? Well, I think we're a work in progress. I wouldn't say we failed to do anything. I think we've come a long way, but I think there's a long way still to go. And I think what I started off by saying is I think we need to market ourselves better to the student body, and that's really increasing our exposure as student leaders, as in the Senate, as programmers, as class council members, having everybody increase their exposure around, and really try to market ourselves, and having students really understand the potential that there lies in these positions.
Sure. So beyond marketing, what do you think FUSA still needs to improve on then?
Still needs to improve. We also have to improve our internal structure. I think we've gotten really involved, like I said, involved in the university decision-making process. But I think there's a lot of communication within FUSA between the different boards. It's such a big organization. There's so many groups, and just having everybody working together, communicating with one another towards common goals is another way. And through the recent Constitutional Convention, we went a long way in doing that.
Well, I think we have another question coming in for you, Brian.
Yes, Mighty Wingman 89 wants to know from Jeff, what will you do to promote communication and collaboration between the Senate and the class council?
Great question.
That's a great question. Right now, what we established this year in the Senate was a class council liaison, a senator that would work directly with the class council and report back to the Senate on what was happening. Another thing that we've established is that when there's an open seat on Senate, that the appointment for that position would be made by the class council president, because they're like the head representative of the class. But right now it was made by actually the FUSA vice president. So that would promote collaboration. And also, when the class councils are going to plan a big ticket program of over $10,000, they would have to come and present it to Senate.